This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Hey everybody, welcome to my new, maybe not improved, but new temporary studio here. Today I want to talk about two different stories that have kind of culminated over the course of the last few days, and I think they're connected. They're not necessarily the same story at all, in fact, but they're connected in the way that Donald Trump has handled them, the White House has handled them, and they are very important, gravely important, because real lives are at stake in both stories. The first, I'm sure you've heard, the other day Donald Trump retweeted a video with one of his supporters in a golf cart that was decorated in Trump regalia, wearing a Trump shirt, screaming white power, white power. And Donald Trump, the unfortunate, but the President of the United States of America, retweeted this video with the following tweet. Thank you to the great people of the villages. The radical left do-nothing Democrats will fall in the fall. Corrupt Joe is shot. See you soon. Now, notwithstanding the ridiculous manner with which Donald Trump punctuates and capitalizes words, thinks he's clever with the do-nothing Democrats will fall in the fall, that is the least of our problems with this. The greatest of them being that Donald Trump is retweeting this particular video. Watch this.
Where's your wife, Roy? Where's your wife, Roy? Racist. Yeah, you got it. You. White power. Racist. White power. There you go. White power. You hear that?
That is pernicious. That is disgusting. That man in the video and Donald Trump are garbage. Human garbage. Vile, reprehensible. White power. So the White House scrambled to try to get on top of this. The video was up, the video were up for over 3 hours while Donald Trump golfed because he was unreachable, apparently. We're going to get to that, but in the meantime, the White House deputy press secretary, Judd Deere, released this statement. President Trump is a big fan of the villages. He did not hear the one statement made on the video. What he did see was tremendous enthusiasm from his many supporters. So Donald Trump is overlooking racism, white supremacy. White power isn't a phrase that's said by your average everyday Joe. It's not Trump 2020 that was screamed. An enthusiastic endorsement of Donald Trump's candidacy in this next election. That's not what we heard. That's not what we witnessed. We witnessed a racist man scream white power. The same thing you would watch some toothless hillbilly in the KKK scream. You might see Richard Spencer or David Duke, Jared Taylor. Racists like this. This is what they scream. White power. And when asked about this, the actual press secretary for the White House, for Donald Trump, Kayleigh McEnany, she took the podium and she answered it with this particular nonsense.
Darling. Thank you, Kelly. I wanted to go back to the tweet the president tweeted yesterday and then removed. This morning you said that he didn't hear the phrase white power in the portion of the video, and that when it was signaled to him that that was there, he took the tweet down. So does the president retweet other people's tweets and videos without knowing the full contents of what he's retweeting?
No, he did not hear that particular phrase when he tweeted out the video.
Did he listen to the video before retweeting it?
He did, and he did not hear that particular phrase.
Got it. We got it, Kayleigh. So he absolutely does watch the videos. He does see what he retweeted. So he's on the hook for it. You can't say he watches, yeah, well, for sure he watches the videos. He just didn't see that particular thing. The thing that happened within 8 seconds of the video starting. In a moment where there is an uprising in our country to protest against the generational abuse of black men and women in this country at the hands of police, in that moment, Donald Trump chooses to retweet a video with someone screaming white power. It is no coincidence. It's not by mistake. Just the other day, his campaign is putting posts on Facebook with Nazi symbols from World War II. The Charlottesville tiki torch Nazis. Very fine people. This isn't by accident. It took 3 hours to remove this tweet. Here's where the problem lies, that Donald Trump was unreachable, that the President of the United States of America was unreachable while on a golf course. Thank God it wasn't a terrorist attack. He couldn't be reached because he's on the links. Thankfully, another country, an enemy, didn't declare war on America. And that we would need our commander-in-chief to make decisions of great import. He couldn't be reached because he was on the golf course. Reading from an NBC article entitled, "Trump's White Power Retweet Sets Off 5-Alarm Fire in the White House. Aides couldn't immediately reach the president to get him to take down the offending tweet because he was on the course at his golf club and had put his phone down," officials said. The video remained on the president's Twitter page, where he has 82 million followers, for more than 3 hours because White House officials couldn't reach him to ask him to delete it, the two officials said. The president was at his golf club in Virginia and had put his phone down, the officials said. Aides also tried unsuccessfully to reach Deputy Chief of Staff Dan Scavino to ask him to delete the retweet, officials said. Well, here's a little piece of news that you may not know, is Dan Scavino, the Deputy Chief of Staff for the President of the United States. The reason Donald Trump even knows this guy is because Dan Scavino used to be his bag boy. Used to carry his clubs. He was a caddy for Donald Trump. And now he's the Deputy Chief of Staff who couldn't reach Donald Trump. They couldn't get a hold of the Deputy Chief of Staff to get a hold of the Commander-in-Chief of the United States Armed Forces because he was golfing. Look, I don't have a problem with a president golfing. I didn't have a problem with Obama golfing. I don't necessarily have a problem with Trump golfing. But if you can't be reached and you're the leader of the free world, there is a problem. Notwithstanding the fact that he retweeted white power. Continuing the article, Senator Tim Scott, Republican of South Carolina, added to the urgency when he called the tweet indefensible and demanded that the president take it down during an interview on CNN, the official said. Once officials were able to reach the president, he agreed to delete it, they said. There is a troubling lack of interest for things that matter on the part of Donald Trump. This is being one of them. He wants to talk about being the president of law and order, while he defends monuments celebrating racists who went to war with our own country so they could own people. No. The other story is Vladimir Putin and Russia offering bounties on the heads of U.S. soldiers, airmen, marine, and sailors to have them killed. A reward of sorts, incentivizing the murder of U.S. troops in Afghanistan. Donald Trump has long been friend, ally of Vladimir Putin, standing shoulder to shoulder with him in Helsinki, saying that, look, he strongly denies that he interfered in the elections in 2016. I have no reason not to believe him. even though 17 individual independent intelligence agencies within the intelligence community say it happened. Everyone says it happened. But Donald Trump takes the word of Vladimir Putin. That, my friends, is treason. He is a traitorous coward, a 5-time draft-dodging coward. Another statement from Kayleigh McEnany on this particular story: the United States receives thousands of intelligence reports a day, and they are subject to strict scrutiny. While the White House does not routinely comment on alleged intelligence or internal deliberations, the CIA director, national security advisor, and chief of staff can all confirm that neither the president nor the vice president were briefed on the alleged Russian bounty intelligence. This does not speak to the merit of the alleged intelligence, but to the inaccuracy of the New York Times story erroneously suggesting that President Trump was briefed on the matter. So they're not denying that Russia did indeed offer money to kill American forces. No, what they deny is that, he's out of the loop. He's out of the loop. Was it because he was golfing and out of the loop? He just doesn't know? Well, we know now that that's a lie. Further reporting has indicated that Donald Trump not only was briefed on this matter, he's known for longer than a year. Early 2019, these particular intelligence reports were included in his daily presidential briefing. We don't know yet whether he was physically briefed by a human, an employee of the CIA, or if it was just included in his written briefs. The problem with that is Donald Trump, if his name isn't included in the brief, or there's like a picture book, if it's not written in a cartoon format, he doesn't pay attention. There's no more consequential job on this planet than President of the United States. And he doesn't take it seriously. He literally hugs the flag, talks about how he loves the troops, our great American military. But when the rubber hits the road, and he's there to either actually support them or let them be murdered for cash by his pal Vladimir Putin, he does nothing. Reading from the AP, White House aware of Russian bounties in 2019, top officials in the White House were aware in early 2019 of classified intelligence indicating Russia was secretly offering bounties to the Taliban for the deaths of Americans, a full year earlier than has been previously reported, according to U.S. officials with direct knowledge of the intelligence. The assessment was included in at least one of President Donald Trump's written daily intelligence briefings at the time, according to the officials. Then, National Security Advisor John Bolton also told colleagues he briefed Donald Trump on the intelligence assessment in March 2019. Concerns about Russian bounties flared anew this year after members of the elite Naval Special Warfare Development Group, known to the public as SEAL Team 6, raided a Taliban outpost and recovered nearly $500,000 in U.S. currency. The funds bolstered the suspicions of the American intelligence community that the Russians had offered money to the Taliban militants and other linked associations, like the Haqqani network. So, if Russia's not just going to be giving out money and like, here, we'll just give you $500,000 and then you can, as you kill Americans, take from it. Why do they have the money? If they're offering a bounty, you would think, well, here's the number that we killed, now give us the money. The fact that they have the money in hand should tell us something. So while all this is taking place, while Donald Trump is aware of it, while Mike Pence is aware of it, they're hugging the flag and proclaiming love for the troops, and then offering Russia a spot back at the international table, trying to legitimize them as a country, trying to make the G7 the G8 and let Russia back in. This is a similar level of incompetence that we've witnessed, a familiar level of disconcern for things that matter. And it's not that he can't spell or write or think correctly. There are real lives at stake here. Not only with Black Americans who are systematically abused and brutalized by police in this country for hundreds of years. Not just that. Also, American troops. Now look, it doesn't matter whether you believe they should or shouldn't be there or what you feel. They were sent there. They don't have a choice. They can't I'm going to opt out of this one. I don't agree with this particular conflict. I'm not going to go. They don't have that choice. They need to be supported while they're there. And part of that support is not allowing a hostile foreign nation to offer bounties on their head. This is the same kind of thing that Donald Trump runs his mouth about with Iran, funding terror around the world. Russia's doing the same thing. There's just a whole lot different response to it. It makes me wonder, though, about who's waking up to this. I think that there are, and I'll play a video here in a second, but I think there are Republicans who traditionally would either keep their mouths shut or support Donald Trump who are coming out against this. There's a former Navy SEAL named Dan Barkhoff who appeared in a Project Lincoln video expressing his concern about it. Here it is.
My name is Dan Barkhoff. I'm a 2001 United States Naval Academy graduate. I'm an ex-Navy SEAL, currently an emergency room physician, and the founder of Veterans for Responsible Leadership. Months ago, Donald Trump learned that the Russians were paying bounties for dead American soldiers in Afghanistan. He chose to do nothing about it. Any commander-in-chief with a spine would be stomping the living shit out of some Russians right now, diplomatically, economically, or, if necessary, with the sort of asymmetric warfare they're using to send our kids home in body bags. Mr. Trump, you're either a coward who can't stand up to an ex-KGB goon, or you're complicit. Which is it? Donald Trump is unfit to be our commander-in-chief, and that's worse than useless. I'm a pro-life, gun-owning combat veteran, and I can see Trump for what he is, a coward. We need to send this draft dodger back to his golf courses. The lives of our troops depend on it.
The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Now look, I don't advocate for military response related to this or all-out war. There are other ways that we can, whether it be ratcheting down the pressure on Russia with continuing sanctions or channels of diplomacy to deal with this. But it gives me hope that there are people who are self-proclaimed gun-owning pro-life individuals who are calling Donald Trump a coward. We are facing, collectively and individually here, we are facing the most monumental, important decision of any of our lives on November 3rd. It is incumbent upon you and me and everybody to get to the polls, to convince your family and your friends and your neighbors to vote. Because if we do not remove Donald Trump in November, there will be more death and destruction and mayhem and carnage at the hands of our enemies internationally and at the hands of the police, who need to be... The system of policing in this country needs to be dismantled and built anew. That's a topic for another day. I'd love to know what you think, though. 714-576-4054. I don't know what's happening with my voice. Email me daily@dollemore.com. Listen, I appreciate you guys very much. If you are in a financial position to do so and are willing to just consider helping support independent media like me, independent media voices like mine, you can do so for fewer than $2 a month. There's a link there or a button below the video. And in times like these, in moments like these in history, it is important to have other independent voices out there to connect the dots, to piece things together. And if I provide that value for you, I would appreciate you considering joining. I've said it before, I'll continue to say it. If I don't bring you that value, if I'm not your particular flavor, I get it. I'm not for everybody. But consider supporting someone else. Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Again, new setup here. I am in Washington State probably for the next couple months while I am with my daughter who's going through chemo. And I appreciate all your support. Until next time, be genuine. Take care of one another.